He's a street photographer with a special focus, telling the undertold story of Black Jacksonville. Here to show and tell us about his award winning work is photographer Malcolm Jackson. Malcolm, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So, you're often described as a street photographer, but for people who don't know what that is, explain how that's different from studio photography, commercial photography, or even photojournalism.
Um, well, street photography and photojournalism kind of go a little bit more hand to hand, but it's as basic as it sounds. It's photographs on the street, and pretty much just documenting everyday life and whatever that situation is.
And so, what drew you to street photography in the first place?
Oh, when I started studying photography through the internet and kind of looking at Gordon Parks' work, and then just going down that rabbit hole and seeing the stories that they were telling and the being in similar situations, and I saw the power in which he was able to get the stories across, and the photographs he was taking were starting to make changes in some form or another. So I was like, this kind of spoke to me more so, and learning about other street photographers like Robert Frank and how they photograph different things, how it may not been in full focus, but the emotion was still there and you understood the message, and that really captured me.
Have you done work in like commercial photography, studio photography as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done that. I do a lot of freelance work. I've worked on movie sets and commercial sets as well, which is kind of similar to street photography. Kind of get to be a little bit more free, running around. So I've done them all.
But street photography, you're really kind of waiting for moments to happen, and it's a totally out of control environment, right? You can't control the lighting, you can't control the people.
Yeah, no, it's you pretty much either sitting on a wall, fly on a wall as the quote that's usually used, or just out in the environment. And compared to New York, Jacksonville, you kind of have to go out there to shoot what you're going to shoot. Whereas in New York, you can be in the middle of Times Square, a million people running around. You can stand on the corner and you can just shoot all you want to. But here you're a little bit more intentional on what you're trying to capture, and a little more intentional on what you're trying to speak to. So I think it has more of a more intimate feel to the photos.
And so I've seen you said in the past that you didn't think that Black Jacksonville had pictures of itself. Explain what it was that you were trying to capture and what it was that you understood you weren't seeing.
Yeah, so growing up in the '90s, Jacksonville was a little bit rough around the edges around that time period, and growing up, all I saw in the news was more so mug shots. And outside of Bob's self work that I would see growing up as a kid in the newspaper, I didn't really see too much, truly positive images or anything, or even just realistic images of Black Jacksonville or the Black Jacksonville that I knew. So
And Bob Self, we should say, was the former
yes,
Times Union
former,
photographer, staff
yeah,
photographer. We had him on recently,
yeah,
actually.
legend.
Right.
And again, just seeing his work, and then starting to study the work, and me knowing the history, a lot of history about Jacksonville, a lot of history about Black Jacksonville, La Villa, Newtown, out east, and knowing these stories, and like, okay, well, I'll take it upon myself to kind of go around and try to speak on these stories and give people a more realistic look, because it made it, the reality of where we may be in some of these neighborhoods, they may not be the greatest, but you still take pride in who you are, and if we can capture at least authenticity of that, I think you'll take more pride in it.
So one of your favorite subjects is laundromats. Talk about why you like them and tell us a little bit about the image that we're going to be looking at here on the screen for people who are watching. Um, it's of a gentleman getting his hair done.
Oh, so the laundromat stuff actually comes from being a part of the family business. I run well, we used to run a laundry business with my dad, and I would run the delivery route, and then we would wash clothes. So on days, I just started bringing my camera up to the laundromat, and it really started from iPhone to digital to shooting film, and really kind of getting a lot of practice in that environment. And again, working in that industry and working in a laundromat, I got a chance to be a part of the community in ways I never thought I could be, and I just took a lot of joy in that, and it kind of felt like a sitcom every time you walked in. So you had these recurring characters like Mr. Greg, rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago, unfortunately. But yeah, he was just getting his hair braided. He was the guy that manned the laundromat, so he cleaned it up. He was kind of like the manager, and again, you would have all these amazing things. He would just get his hair braided in the middle of the laundromat, and that laundromat became like a sacred place. So if anything you want to know that was going on in the neighborhood, or if you want to find out something nationwide, you would go in that laundromat. I remember when Prince passed away, people ran to the laundromat to say, "Hey, did Prince really pass away?" And people was like, "Yeah." So I always thought that was pretty interesting. So the laundromat work always has a special place in my heart.
I want to ask about another photograph that I think we can show. It's this incredible picture, a group of guys, beautiful big smiles. One of them with a gun trained right on you.
Yeah. So that one was actually on the west side, and I was it was during a music video shoot. So I mean, it was perfectly safe. But again, the camera, and especially in Jacksonville, the camera or my camera allows to bring the subject's guard down a little bit. Where sometimes when you have those gigantic telephoto lenses and stuff like that, and they're more on a I don't want to say predatory, type of appearance, but just a little bit more aggressive in the photographs where I'm just photographing, they're cool and like, man, take a picture of us and, just having excitement. So, I mean, while it is wild, photographing hindsight, um, it's still pretty awesome to see that.
So there is a photo festival that you're organizing this weekend, Saturday, September 21st. It's at Lift Every Voice and Sing Park from 4 to 5. Malcolm Jackson, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.